Extreme was formed in 1985 when vocalist Gary Cherone and drummer Paul Geary, they were previously members of a band called The Dream, and they got together with Nuno Bettencourt. He was in a band called Sinful, and then they got together with bassist Pat Badger, and they formed a band in 1986. And the reason it's called Extreme is because the previous band was called The Dream, and they wanted to call it X Dream, if that makes any sense. So they released their first debut album, self-titled in 1989. It was pretty successful. It got to 25 on the Billboard 200, had a few hit singles, Play With Me and Kids Got a Problem. I bought this when it came out. I thought it's okay. Actually, now I wouldn't rank it very high. But then in 1990, they released their second album. I'm not going to say the name of it because this video might get flagged, but I'm going to call it Extreme 2. And that one was very successful. It had the #1 hit, More Than Words, and a couple other hit singles. Then they released Extreme 3, Three Sides to Every Story. This is probably one of my favorites. It's a very underrated album. It did pretty well, peaking at number 12. And then the fourth album, Waiting for the Punchline, in 1995. That was kind of like a disappointment. It was a grunge album. I actually like it, but the band broke up at that point, and then they kind of reunited in the 2000s. Then they released one album called Saudades de Rock, which is a surprisingly very good album. And they're back with album number 6, so let's talk about it. 6 is their 6th studio album. It was released on June 9th, 2023, and their first album in 15 years. The last one was Saudades de Rock in 2008. The album was produced by Michael Beinhorn and has 12 tracks. They released a few singles. They released Rise in March of 2023, #Rebel, and a few others. I'll talk about them. So the album has 12 songs. The first 4 songs were already released as singles, and I would say the first 3 songs are probably the heaviest songs on the album. The album tends to change the style throughout, and the rest of the songs are very good, and I kind of like the different changes they do. I enjoyed all the songs, so let's talk about them. First single was Rise. It's the first song. So when I heard the song, I thought it was very good. It got me interested in the band again. It had some great riffs, some memorable hooks. Also a song that had a guitar solo everyone was talking about, and a solo that seemed to kind of summon like Eddie Van Halen. Overall, a good lead single. #Rebel, another one of the singles. This one had a heavy opening guitar riff. I thought the song had some really good guitar playing. Some of Nuno's guitar playing reminded me of Eddie Van Halen again. He does some harmonics. Nuno used a lot of like palm muting in the playing. It kind of makes the song stand out, like a little heavier, a little crunchier. Like most of the other songs, the guitar solo was very good. Then Banshee, another one of the singles. Another one that's pretty heavy, maybe the heaviest song on the album. It has a cool guitar riff. And it's cool guitar playing like throughout the verse section. It's really catchy, and the chorus sticks in your head. And it was really good. Now, after this, those were the first 3 singles. Now, everything after this is everything goes from either like acoustic to electronic and all. They kind of mix it up after this. So, track 4, Other Side of the Rainbow. Really good song, acoustic ballad. They did a music video with the guys playing in a big field. This one had like a country flavor, but then towards the end of the song, it sounded more like 80s glam metal power ballad. You know, Nuno Bettencourt playing the guitar solo in the big field in the video. So that was really good. Small Town Beautiful, another acoustic song. Gary is singing in like a higher range. Kind of has like a folk rock feel to it. They're bringing like rock guitars in the chorus. There's some alternative rock guitars mixed in as well. The lyrics are describing a girl who has the quality of being a beautiful girl from a small town, and you know, that's kind of like what the name suggests, and it's just a good rock song with a country feel. Then The Mask. This is where the album gets a little weird. I think like post-punk, new wave, that type with like the bass line. Gary Cherone is singing in this like low, like baritone style. Maybe reminded me a little bit of like Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots. Like once the chorus comes in, it starts to sound like Gary Cherone, but it's the type of song that has that like cool like bass guitar groove and some cool guitar riffs and vocal harmonies. And Thicker Than Blood is when they bring in that like futuristic like industrial metal sound. It's they have some heavier guitar riffs. It reminded me of like 9 Inch Nails, like that type of like drum beat. It was good. I like the mix of the synth and the guitars. There's some industrial sound bites with like people cheering, and overall the song was catchy. Then Save Me, this one reminded me a lot of Alice in Chains. They do those like vocal chants the way that Lane Staley used to do. It's more of like an atmospheric song, but then they have like the heavier, like grungy types of riff, like similar to something like from Dirt. It wasn't like as blatant as that Avenged Sevenfold song where that reminded me a lot of Them Bones, but this one reminded me of Alice in Chains. Hurricane, that's an acoustic song. This one reminds me of like Led Zeppelin, Going to California, that type of song, the arpeggiated chords, soft singing, a really relaxing, laid back type of song. I enjoyed it. Both Nuno and Gary had vocals on the song, and there was some orchestration. I thought it was pretty good. X Out, another one of those futuristic songs with the industrial electronic sounds. Lots of different types of feelings going on throughout the song, like some softer parts, some harder parts, and it's very different. It's like electronic rock, has some kind of like jazzy influences, and then it's almost like a danceable beat, but I thought it was pretty good. Track 11 is Beautiful Girls. This is one of those acoustic songs with that reggae or calypso kind of like feel to it. Think of bands like Sublime, Everlast, Sugar Ray, 311, like that type of sound. Has that California, Venice Beach, going surfing, smoking weed, like that type of feel to it. Type of feel about, lyrics and talking about like beautiful girls. It's in it like the same as like the Van Halen song, but it's not the same song. It's completely different. And the lyrics are similar to when David Lee Roth did that Beach Boys cover, California Girls, talking about the different types of girls on the beach and that they're looking at. Vocals are really good. Gary Cherone and Nuno Bettencourt both do vocals. So it's a pretty good song. And the final song is called Here's to the Losers. It's one of those like uplifting acoustic songs. It's about telling people it's okay if you fail. Get up again, try again, you'll do better later on. It's just one of those uplifting songs. It's mostly acoustic, it's laid back, it's a relaxing type of rock song. Like at the end of the song, they have like this big crowd of people just like singing like a cappella style, and that closes out the album. So let me go through my. So I mentioned a couple times talking about the Avenged Sevenfold album last week, and how I said that was very weird because they kept like jumping around different genres and just going from one to the other. And this album is similar in that way, but it's a lot better because everything is kept within like rock and metal. Like it doesn't feel like it's going all over the place. It just like feels like it has like a cohesive sound, but they're experimenting with different styles. So they do some electronics, they do some like hard rock, some acoustic rock, and a little bit of country, and they just like mix it up a lot. They do a lot of different stuff here, and I actually enjoyed this album a lot. I think this band gets better than age. This is one of those like few bands where I think their later albums are better than like their first few ones. But I will be doing a ranking later on for this because I've been listening to this band for a long time, and it's good to hear them again. Their first album in 15 years, and I'm going to give this a high score. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Please remember to like this video. It helps me with the algorithm. Please comment. I like to respond to all comments. And check out this video right here. I haven't really done anything else on Extreme, but I'll put something similar for you to watch. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.